If you have been on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, like WhatsApp, anywhere this past week, you have seen the story of the woman from Ivory Coast that supposedly was not allowed to enter the US or had her US passport taken away from her because she did not leave the US on that passport, and she entered her country of origin, Ivory Coast, with that country's passport instead of her US passport. And people are freaking out. When I tell you people are freaking out, people are freaking out. I was on an immigration panel where basically it was a community organized panel where people were asking questions, wanting to get updates on what's going on with the administration. And this question came up. And that's just how much these news, these rumors travel. Like, it travels fast. And with everything else going on, people get scared whenever anything that they've been doing for years changes. People are going to get scared. So in this video, I'm going to answer that question, and I'm going to actually direct you to the US State Department website where it says what you can and can't do as a dual citizen. I am U.S. immigration attorney Lilian Chukwurah, and I help my clients get green cards and citizenships for themselves and their families using the U.S. immigration law system. All right, so here's the story. And this is what the story says. Quote, "This was sent by an immigration officer. An Ivorian woman was caught and denied entry into the United States because she left the country without a visa, using her Ivorian passport to enter Cote d'Ivoire, and then attempted to return to the US with her American passport. Apparently, the immigration officer asked her how she entered Cote d'Ivoire, and when she replied that she used her Ivorian passport, the officer confiscated her US passport, telling her that she did not need it if she was using her Ivorian one. Legally, the officer was right. US law states if you are a US citizen with multiple passports, you must use your American passport to enter and exit the United States." So that is the story that has been circulating all of WhatsApp, all of TikTok. Like I said, it made it into the panel that I was on. Here's the thing though. Is it accurate? Right? Sometimes we have to think about where the story is coming from. Is it accurate? Is that actually what happened? And what does the law say? Okay, so I cannot tell you whether that story is true or not, whether it is real or not, because I don't have any verifiable proof that it is real, right? This person that this happened to has not come out and stated stated what has happened, provided any form of documentation or proof that this is actually real. Okay, so that's number one. So I cannot say, yes, this actually happened. All right. And when it comes to rumors, especially in the times that we're in, any sort of rumor is going to spread, and it's going to cause panic, and it's going to cause fear. So before you share anything on immigration, especially things that are going to cause panic and fear, you need to check the sources, okay? Someone on TikTok not telling their own story, right? Not their own lived experience, something that somebody said to someone that then they're repeating. We don't know, and we cannot verify whether it's real or not. What we can rely on is what the US government has says and still says on the State Department website about dual citizenship, right? US nationals, US citizens are allowed to gain other citizenships or retain their original citizenship when they become a US citizen. All right. It clearly states US law does not impede its citizens' acquisition of foreign citizenship, whether by birth, descent, naturalization, or other forms of acquisition by imposing requirements of permission from U.S. courts or any government agency. Meaning, if you are a U.S. citizen, you can go and apply for citizenship in another country without needing to get permission from the U.S. government first. So now let's get to the part that is being quoted over and over and over. And let me give you more context. And then we can talk about what it actually means. So this is what it says on the U.S. Department of State website. U.S. nationals, including U.S. dual nationals, must use a U.S. passport to enter and leave the United States. Right? That's the first sentence. That's not the whole paragraph. And that sentence is what is circulating everywhere as the reason why that Ivorian woman in that story, that we don't know if it's real or not, that's why she was denied entry into the US, right? But the paragraph goes on. That's not it. It then says US dual nationals may also be required by the country of their foreign nationality to use that country's passport to enter and leave that country. Okay, so the issue, according to that story, that rumor, is that the person entered Ivory Coast, right, Cote d'Ivoire, they entered the country with their Ivorian passport and not their US passport. And that was the issue. When it clearly says here that US dual nationals may also be required by the country. So this person that's a dual national can be required by Ivory Coast to enter and leave that country with an Ivorian passport. And this section goes on to say, use of a foreign passport to travel to or from a country other than the United States is not inconsistent with US law. What does that mean? It means that if that other country that you are a citizen of requires you to enter and exit that country, right? Enter and exit that country with their passport, it is not contrary, right? It doesn't go against any US law for you to do that. So when you're leaving the US, you need to show your US passport to leave the US. When you're coming back to the US, you need to show your US passport to come back to the US. When you're going into your second country, right, of citizenship, if they require you to show a passport, their passport, you are allowed by US law to show your passport for that country when you're going into it and to show that passport when you're leaving that country. But when you're entering the US, now you show your US passport. This has been in practice forever. Okay? The first time I went back to Nigeria after becoming a US citizen, that is the process. When I was leaving the US, I had to show my US passport. I had to also show my Nigerian passport because, again, you need to show that you have documentation that will allow you to enter the country that you want to enter, and then show your US passport to show that you are allowed to be here. So I'll give you a quick example. There was a trip that we were taking. My sister was a permanent resident at that time, and she forgot her residency card at home when we were going to the airport. We get to the airport. Guess what happened? They would not allow her to board the flight, even though she had her Nigerian passport, because she had no proof. It's a it's a round trip ticket, right? She had no proof that she had legal status to return to the US on that round trip ticket. It's really important that we know the difference here, because when you are leaving the US, you do have to show, especially if you have a return ticket, you do have to show that you can legally return to the US, right? And then when you're going to that other country, you have to show that you are legally able to enter that country. And as a dual national, that may be requiring you to show the passport for that country. So, is there a requirement for you to enter and exit the US with your US passport? Yes, right? Are you going to have your US citizenship taken away from you because you entered your other country of citizenship with that country's passport? The answer to that is no, because the US government, the US laws allows for you to leave the US with your US passport and enter another country with that country's passport and not jeopardize your US citizenship. That's the whole point of dual citizenship, guys. Okay? That is the whole point. And to further drive home that this may just be a rumor or that there's more to the story than just the person being a dual national, let's talk about how I know for a fact that there's been at least confirmed 3 people that I can confirm has dual national, right? One of them has triple nationality. They have traveled outside of the US with their US passport, entered another country with that country's passport, and have been able to re enter the US without an issue. So please do not be afraid to travel. Do not be afraid to travel to your other country of citizenship with that country's passport. Unless the US laws changes, you are a dual national, you are a US citizen. No one can just take away your US citizenship. Okay? You can choose to give up your US citizenship, but no one can take it away from you. The only way to take away your citizenship is to go through a denaturalization if you are a naturalized citizen. If you are born in the US, they can't really take that away from you, okay? But if you are a naturalized citizen, the only way for them to take away your citizenship is to go through the denaturalization process. Okay. And if you're worried about denaturalization, watch my video on that just to get perspective on who can be denaturalized and what the process is, because it is not as easy and simple as people make it out to be. Oh, we're just going to take away your citizenship. It does not work that way. I hope this has helped you kind of calm your nerves, especially if you're a naturalized citizen and you're worried about this. Know that you are not breaking any US laws by traveling to your other country of citizenship, entering that country with their country's passport, and leaving that country with their country's passport, and entering the US with a US passport. You are not breaking any laws. Okay? Yes, I know what the rumors are. Until we get confirmation, actual confirmation, it is just a rumor. And with the immigration climate right now, there's going to be a lot of rumors. There's going to be a lot of things going around. Just know that you need proper information, okay? You need to make sure that you have actual facts before you start believing things. And remember, if you want to watch more of my videos, especially the one on denaturalization, if that is something that you are worried about, go ahead and watch that video. And if you are in an immigration situation that you would like consultation on, go ahead and go to my website, lilylegal.com, and click on Contact Us, where you can schedule a free 15-minute strategy session with me to discuss your situation and see how we can help you.